The morning arrives not with a shout, but with a slow, deliberate unfolding of light against the cool surfaces of the home. Within this small enclosure, the world feels distant, and the air remains perfectly still, held captive by the brick walls that define the boundary of this private sanctuary. There is a profound sense of belonging here, where the architecture of the house leans gently into the green space, creating a pocket of silence that seems to exist outside of time. The light is pale and hesitant, tracing the delicate patterns of shadow that stretch across the ground, moving with a glacial pace that invites the eye to settle and linger. To witness this moment is to understand the quietude of a space that asks for nothing and offers only the chance to exist in the present. The stillness is a physical presence, a weightless layer that settles over every leaf and stone, softening the edges of the domestic world. Here, the transition from night to day is a seamless gradient, a slow awakening where the only movement is the gradual shift of luminescence. It is a time for the mind to remain unhurried, reflecting the deep, unwavering calm of the courtyard itself, where the house stands as a silent guardian over its small, secret world. The intimacy of the scale ensures that nothing is lost to the distance. Every detail is close enough to be felt, yet distant enough to remain part of the collective hush that defines the early hour. As the sun climbs higher, it finds its way into the narrow corridor of the side garden, illuminating the textures of the home's exterior with a golden, clarifying warmth. This space is a testament to the beauty of the overlooked, a small passage where the pace of life slows to a crawl. The light rests heavily upon the surfaces, sinking into the wood and stone, radiating a gentle heat that seems to vibrate in the stillness. There is an incredible density to the air in this corner of the property, a feeling of being completely wrapped in the domestic atmosphere. The walls of the house provide a sense of security and permanence, framing a view that is limited in scope but infinite in its depth of feeling. Time feels suspended in this golden pool of light, where the shadows are sharp and the stillness is absolute. It is a moment of pure observation, where the simple alignment of sun and structure creates a fleeting masterpiece of light and shadow. The enclosure of the garden ensures that the outside world is forgotten, replaced by a quiet focus on the immediate surroundings. In this narrow slice of land, the world is reduced to the interplay of light and texture, a slow-motion dance that requires no participation, only a willingness to watch and wait. The silence is profound, broken only by the internal rhythm of a home at rest, a peaceful heartbeat that pulses through the very soil and air of this intimate sanctuary. The sky has softened into a uniform gray, casting a shadowless, even light that reveals the true depth of the garden's color. Tucked against the cool stone of the house's foundation, the atmosphere is damp and hushed, a subterranean world of quiet growth and steady stillness. The scale here is minute, focused on the small details that thrive in the permanent shade of the domestic structure. There is a sense of ancient peace in this low-lying space, a feeling that the earth and the home have become one over the passing years. The air is heavy with the scent of damp earth and life, a quiet breath that rises from the ground and hangs suspended in the windless air. This is a place of profound retreat, where the eyes are drawn downward to the subtle complexities of the small and the still. The domestic boundary provides a protective shell, allowing this microlandscape to exist in a state of perpetual calm. Each element is perfectly placed by the hand of time, contributing to a visual harmony that is both complex and deeply simple. The stillness here is not an absence of movement, but a presence of equilibrium, a steady state where every part of the environment is in perfect balance with its neighbor. To gaze into this small world is to find a center of gravity, a point of stillness that grounds the spirit and quiets the noise of the external world. Near the threshold of the home, the garden takes on a rhythmic quality, where the architecture of the house interacts with the open air. The light passes through the overhead structures, creating a pattern of light and dark that marches across the ground with the precision of a clock. This area, so close to the daily life of the house, remains caught in a state of midday suspension. The stillness is palpable, a quiet tension between the interior and the exterior. The gravel path lies unmoved, each small stone a witness to the passage of light. There is a feeling of readiness here, a sense that the space is waiting, but for nothing in particularly the continuation of its own quiet existence. The domestic scale is evident in the proximity of the walls and the enclosure of the trellis, creating a room without a ceiling that feels just as private as any interior chamber. The light is bright but tempered, diffused by the structures it encounters, resulting in an atmosphere that is both vibrant and serene. It is a place of transition that has chosen to remain still, a bridge between the shelter of the home and the life of the garden. In this intersection, the world feels incredibly small and manageable, a curated slice of existence where the only requirement is to witness the slow movement of the sun across the textured surfaces. Through the veil of the home's own skin, the garden appears as a dreamscape of soft edges and muted colors. The frosted glass acts as a filter, stripping away the sharpness of the world and leaving only the essence of light and form. This perspective emphasizes the separation and the connection between the domestic interior and the private outdoor space. The stillness is doubled hereonce in the quiet room and once in the silent garden beyond. The atmosphere is one of profound introspection, where the outside world is reduced to a series of glowing shapes and shifting tones. It is a reminder of the home as a sanctuary, a place from which to observe the world without being consumed by it. The light that makes its way through the glass is soft and milky, filling the space with a gentle radiance that seems to emanate from the walls themselves. Beyond the pane, the garden rests in its own quietude, a secret world that continues its slow, rhythmic life regardless of whether it is watched. This view captures the heart of the domestic experience and comfort of being enclosed while remaining aware of the beauty that lies just beyond the door. The world feels safe, small, and infinitely peaceful, a landscape of the mind reflected in the physical reality of the small residential plot. As the afternoon begins its slow descent toward evening, the shadows in the garden grow long and thin, reaching out like fingers toward the base of the house. The light has taken on a rich amber hue, raking across the horizontal surfaces and highlighting every minute rise and fall in the terrain. In this small patch of ground, the transition of the day is marked by the shifting geometry of the darkness. The stillness feels deeper now, as if the garden is bracing itself for the coming cool of the night. The slate pavers, warmed by the day's sun, hold onto the heat, creating a microclimate of lingering warmth in the low-lying air. There is a sense of profound completion in this light, a feeling that the day has fulfilled its promise and is now content to fade away. The domestic environment is hushed, the walls of the house catching the final rays of direct sun and reflecting them back into the garden. This is a time of extreme clarity, where the low angle of the sun reveals textures and details that were invisible in the flat light of noon. The enclosure of the space feels even more pronounced as the shadows bridge the gaps between the plants and the architecture, knitting the entire garden into a single, cohesive whole of darkening green and glowing gold. In the final hours of the day, the light finds a way to move through the garden rather than just falling upon it. It catches the delicate structures of the leaves, turning them into small lanterns of green and gold that glow against the deep shadows of the boundary fence. This backlighting creates a sense of depth and volume, making the small garden feel like a vast cathedral of light. The stillness is absolute, a quiet so heavy it feels as though the air itself has stopped moving. The house stands in the background, a soft-focused sentinel that provides the context for this private display of natural beauty. There is an intimacy to this moment that is almost overwhelming, a feeling of being invited into a secret ceremony of light. The domestic scale ensures that this experience is concentrated and personal, a quiet miracle occurring just steps from the back door. The world outside the fence has ceased to exist, replaced entirely by this small, luminous theater. The air is still and expectant, holding its breath as the light performs its final, brilliant act of the day. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated peace, where the mind can find rest in the simple, glowing reality of the immediate environment, wrapped in the safety of the home. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a world of deep blues and cool purples. The garden is transformed into a space of shadows and soft reflections, where the lines between the plants and the architecture begin to blur. On the brick patio, the stillness is profound, a quiet that seems to emanate from the very earth. The house begins to glow from within, its windows casting long, rectangular pools of light onto the garden, creating a bridge between the warmth of the interior and the cool of the night. This is the hour of the threshold, a time of balance between light and dark, heat and cold. The small residential space feels incredibly secure in this light, a fortress of calm in a darkening world. The air is crisp and still, carrying the faint scent of the coming night. There is a sense of profound rest here, as if the garden is settling into its own skin, content to be still and unseen. The geometry of the patio and the silhouette of the home provide a stable frame for the shifting colors of the sky, creating a scene of domestic tranquility that is both timeless and fleeting. In this quiet blue world, the mind finds a natural rhythm, slowing down to match the steady, silent pulse of the darkening garden. Night has fully arrived, and with it comes a different kind of light, silver and cold, that touches the garden with a ghostly precision. In the center of the small space, a stone basin holds the moon, its surface a mirror for the night sky. The stillness is now layered with the soft, rhythmic sound of silence, a quiet so deep it has its own texture. The domestic world is asleep, the house a dark shape against the stars, but the garden remains awake in its own silent way. The light of the moon carves out the shapes of the plants and the path, creating a landscape of monochrome beauty. There is a sense of mystery here, but it is a safe, domestic mystery, a secret kept by the walls of the home. The air is cool and still, the only movement a faint ripple on the water that catches the light and sends it dancing across the stone. This is the garden at its most intimate, a place of total retreat where the outside world is a distant memory. The scale of the space feels perfectly aligned with the human spirit, a small, enclosed universe that offers total peace and absolute stillness. To watch the moon in the water is to find a point of perfect clarity, a moment of deep, wordless connection with the quiet heart of the home. The cycle begins to turn once more as the first hints of light touch the edge of the world. A thick white mist has settled into the garden, clinging to the ground and obscuring the boundaries of the space. The house is a dark, solid presence in the fog, its roofline emerging like a ship from a sea of white. The stillness is absolute, dampened and muffled by the heavy air. This is the quietest moment of the day, a time of total suspension before the world begins to stir. The small front yard, enclosed by its wooden gate, feels like an island of calm in a world of mist. There is a sense of profound potential in this light, a feeling of a world being born anew in the silence. The scale of the home and its garden provides a sense of grounding, a solid point of reference in the shifting fog. The air is wet and cold, but the stillness is a comfort, a blanket that protects the peace of the domestic sanctuary. In this pre-dawn hush, the garden is a place of pure being, a space where time has no meaning and the only reality is the slow, silent emergence of the world from the dark. The journey through the small garden concludes here, in the perfect stillness of a new beginning, held safely within the walls of the home.